All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about one of literature's most furious characters, a young man who basically declared war on the entire universe. This is the story of Ippolit Terentyev.
And this quote, this just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? We're dealing with a character whose entire reality has been warped by a death sentence. It turns everything beautiful, everything good into something he just has to resent.
So, who is this kid who's picking a fight with the universe? Well, we meet him in Dostoevsky's masterpiece, The Idiot. And trust me, once you meet him, he is absolutely impossible to forget. So, picture this guy. He's only 18, but he's already being eaten alive by tuberculosis. Consumption, they called it. He's super pale, rail thin, and he's got these feverish, burning eyes. He's living off the charity of others, which you can imagine just makes him even angrier. And he's spending all his final days writing this enormous document he calls his explanation, which is less of a confession and more of an indictment against existence itself.
But the real fight here, it isn't just with his body. The real war is the one going on inside his head. Hippolyte's mind is both his greatest strength and his most terrible curse.
See, he's brilliant. Unbelievably smart. He's reading philosophers, he can take apart any argument you throw at him. He sees the world with this painful, shocking clarity. But all of that incredible brain power is focused, like a laser, on one single, unanswerable question that just tortures him day and night.
And there's the question. Why? Why would nature, or God, or the universe, whatever, give him a consciousness that can appreciate everything, that can understand the cosmos, only to trap it inside a broken, decaying body that won't even make it to 20? To him, it feels like a sick, cosmic joke. And he is definitely not laughing.
So this is the war raging inside him. On one side, you have this massive intellect, right? A soul that wants to read everything, know everything, be everything. And on the other side, you have a physical body that understands only one thing. It's about to be destroyed. The two are just locked in this impossible battle that he knows he can't win.
And a war like that, it never stays contained, does it? It inevitably spills out. All that suffering has curdled his emotions, turning any chance for human connection into just another opportunity for revenge.
His emotional state is described as pure acid. Just think about that for a second. He can't look at someone, even a person he might admire or even love, without this wave of hatred washing over him, for the simple crime of being alive when he's not going to be.
And this cruelty, it actually follows its own twisted little logic. You can see it here. First, he seeks out something beautiful, something pure. In the book, it's the character Aglaya. Then, he shoves the ugliest thing he knows, his own suffering, right in its face. When she, of course, recoils in horror, it just confirms what he wanted to believe all along, that beauty and kindness, they're just lies, fragile illusions that shatter the second they touch something real.
So all of this, the anger, the philosophy, the cruelty, it all builds to this one dramatic climax, a public performance where Hippolyte is going to try to seize control of his own story, his own death. But, yeah, the universe has one last slap in the face waiting for him.
The scene is just incredible. He gathers an audience and reads his sprawling 80-page manifesto out loud. Then, for the grand finale, he dramatically raises a pistol to his head to end his life on his terms. He pulls the trigger, and click. Nothing. Just a click. Turns out the firing cap was missing. His ultimate act of defiance, his grand statement, just fizzles into this pathetic, embarrassing failure.
And that's really the point, isn't it? That's the symbolic gut punch. Even in death, he has no power. The universe is so utterly indifferent to him and his rebellion that it won't even grant him a dramatic exit. His final gesture is just stolen from him.
Okay, so at this point you're probably thinking, wow, this guy sounds completely unbearable. And you know what? You're right. He is. But there's a reason he has stuck with readers for more than 100 years. He feels weirdly familiar.
So what is that? Why does this furious, dying teenager from a 19th century Russian novel somehow feel like someone we know?
It's because he's basically the ghost of our own teenage angst, cranked up to 11. He's that part of us that maybe wrote some really overwrought dramatic poetry. He's that friend we all had who could turn any conversation, no matter how small, into a debate about cosmic injustice.
He is that little dark thought that can pop into your head when you're looking at a beautiful sunset, the one that whispers, one day you'll be dead, and none of this will matter.
And what makes Ippolit so unforgettable, so powerful, is that Dostoevsky refuses to give us an easy out. There's no redemption arc, no last-minute epiphany where he learns a valuable lesson and accepts his fate. He goes to his grave just as angry and defiant as he lived. What the novel gives us isn't comfort, it's just honesty. A shocking, terrible honesty.
And in the end, that's his legacy. He isn't a hero. He isn't a villain. He's a witness. A boy who was forced to look straight into the meaningless, indifferent abyss of his own death and decided that the only reasonable thing to do was to spit right back in its face.